We're live. All right. Eric, what do we got? Is this podcast 90? 89. All right. ZZP Power Hour number 89. And today we got a fresh face on. We got Mr. Chris. And Chris is, I would say, our head mechanic. We only have two right now, but been around for 6 years. And then we got Bo and Tim, who Bo is our current install bay manager. Tim has been install bay manager a couple times. And I'm sure he was happy to hand that over to.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Tim was great.
Tim's like the install bay manager father.
Yep.
Like the install bay is kind of his little baby. He nurtured it when it was young, and he brought it alive and cared for it all the years he just really didn't want it to be around. And then I came in 2 years ago to assist him with the install bay, and
that didn't last long.
And he quickly just
Here you go.
Handed him the keys. Here you go.
Son, you're ready to drive.
Yep. Thankfully, I got a good guy like Chris working with me every day.
Yep.
And there hasn't been really anything we haven't been able to tackle yet.
No.
And,
So, today we'll be talking about just install bay, what it's like here at ZZP. If anyone listening is not aware, we have a full shop. We got 6 bays. We do full service on our vehicles here. We won't work on your random G35 bro who walks up to the window. But we do everything from just a little simple exhaust to full engine builds, full turbo kits, I mean everything. So if anyone has any questions along the way, feel free to ask those, ask some general maintenance questions, whatever you want. We'll answer what we can.
Yeah. We really specialize in bolting on our parts when you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or if, you don't have the tools or facility to do it and you want a build or even just a clutch install or, anything in between, really. There's nothing we won't do if we have the parts and the abilities to do it here. And it's a platform car. So
Yeah. If you screw up your F35 clutch, bring it in here. We'll make it right.
Why does that sound like voice of experience, Tyler?
Yeah, Chris, you want to get a little closer there? There we go. Perfect. Jonathan, no, you can't get a discount code. Wait till Black Friday. Adam Project, I see you got some ZZP coilovers on your Sky. That's awesome. I hope you like them. We got Randy in here. We got Captain Slow. Who is that?
Canatelli.
Canatelli, yeah.
Captain Hungry,
Yeah.
we also call him.
Captain Hungry. Chris Caraway's got a Z3 kit. Sweet.
He's going to love that. I mean, there is not much better than taking a 3800 and putting a turbo kit on it.
Yep.
That is such a glorious modification to a car.
Yeah.
really any of our platform vehicles, LSJ entry-level swap kit, 3800 Z3 entry-level kit, it's big stuff when you get rid of the blower.
An LSJ is already pretty awesome. You put a turbo on it, it's better, but like a 3800, you think it's quick, you think it's fast until you put a turbo kit on it, and then you're like, holy crap, this is what fast is.
Yeah.
And then your 4T65 is like, I don't like it.
Sad.
I don't like it.
To be fair, if you're responsible and keep it at like 12 pounds.
And then what,
like
and then,
you?
and then what happens when the boost controller fails?
It'll last one summer.
Pretty much. My stock tranny that had 60,000 miles on it lasted, I think, about 2 months of daily driving, and that was with me letting off for the shift, and it still just whooped the chain. Yeah. I'm like, what's this funny jangling noise? And then all of a sudden, snap. Yep.
Quick disconnect chain.
We call that the quick release chain.
Yep. Bill Gattez, unfortunately, we no longer have LDKs. We are all out.
They are gone?
They are gone.
Oh,
so
sad times.
Big sad. Unless we find some magical other storage unit of someone hoarding them that wants to sell us them so we can sell them to you. They are gone for now. But we are working on block solutions. Al's looking into different sleeving options. Obviously we're going to continue to support the Ecotec for as long as we can. So we know that people will need rebuilt blocks, and
it'll be applicable to our LTG platform that's just really in need of an alternative,
Some sort of a solution.
Other than buying new or used engines that are low miles and essentially trying to find one that's not out of round.
Man, isn't that wild?
Or blown
out
up.
of the factory that way.
Yeah, I know. Chris, I think you were tearing down one last year that had 8,000 miles on
Yeah,
it,
super low.
and it was whooped already.
Yep. I've pulled good running junkyard engines down and had all 4 pistons cracked.
Yeah. Yep. It's really a gamble, and yeah, the LTG is a fragile little thing.
Yep. Randy has a good question. What's your favorite / least favorite platform car to work on?
That's a great question for Chris.
Yeah.
I like the ATS-Vs the best.
That surprises me. That is like 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound
I
bag.
know. I still like them, though. Most of them are nice.
Yeah.
They're not rusty.
Yep.
They're clean. 3800 would be my least. Some of them are really, really nice, and those ones are not.
They're a
bad to
gem
work
when they
on.
come in.
Yeah.
It's disappointing because the 3800 is such an easy to work on car, but we live in Michigan,
But most
so
of them around here are not
Oh.
nice.
yeah.
They're so bad.
Yeah. When I've had Chris work on a few 3800s, and
That's like when he's in punishment. Like, hey Chris, I got this 3800 and it needs a.
he's actually
fill in
got
the
a
blank.
3800 project next week.
Yeah. Monte Carlo, although it's from down south,
It
right?
looks super clean.
It's from
I haven't been
Kentucky.
under it yet.
It's from Kentucky. We got a really nice Monte Carlo customer, Griffin, brought it in, and he's got a really nice low mile L67. We're gonna swap into it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, that's a cool car.
Yeah, should be a good little project.
Just interrupting for a second. This Dairyland LNF, looking to increase torque on a Z57 LNF on 93. He says he's only at 300 foot-pounds. That seems really low. Cams
Yeah.
will help a little bit, but I think you're going to probably want HP tuners, and you're going to want to scan it, and you're going to want to talk to Matt here about remote tuning your car, because 300 foot-pounds seems really low for a Z57 LNF.
That does, and I guess another question alongside that is, what are you looking to do that you want more torque? You know, any larger frame turbo isn't going to have the big torque spike that a KO4 will, but it'll carry out a lot further. So
Yeah, definitely the RPM that you're looking for, the torque, would be pretty helpful. But that's definitely contact customer service so we can, get more of the story on that and help you out.
mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's an auto too, any of the LNF auto cars in an HHR specifically are not great.
Yeah,
Not
they
good.
do not perform very well. We had one guy come in for a full LNF build on his HHR, and it made like 280 wheel horsepower.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like,
I remember that one.
yeah.
That wasn't that long ago.
And Ryan always tells the story. Apparently, we had some guy come in for a 257 on his auto HHR, and it made like 320 wheel when you can make easy past 5 on that. So yeah, just good old GM 4 speeds.
Yeah.
Jake Beatty, sonic tune effect drivability, absolutely not.
No.
It'll drive nothing but better after the tune.
And reliability, not at all either. We can tune the thermostat to open a little sooner so it doesn't run as hot because they're electronically assisted, and just keep 87 out of it. Don't ever put 87 in your 1.4 because that's when it'll chip your pistons.
That's
Blake
proven to be a
Williams,
really
like,
solid engine though.
Very solid.
Yeah,
Blake
we're actually
Williams,
getting ready to
you're-
put together the drag sonic engine here next week, and there's me and Al have talked about it a lot. We love it because it's iron and it's stout,
Mhm.
and
It's so small.
yeah,
Nothing can flex.
yeah,
We tore that
it's
thing
quite a
down
compact little unit.
after a billion practically drag passes and dyno runs.
Holes.
Bearings look perfect. Like,
Yeah.
you could have slapped them right back in.
Real crazy. We do a lot of engine building here. Chris actually does a lot of engine building. He's built Tim's ATS-V engine. He's going to build the drag sonic engine.
Did.
Almost all of our LTGs, right?
Almost all.
Yeah.
Almost all of our LTGs.
Alan
Yep.
Mayo's Camaro, Matt's ATS.
Yeah.
Ryan's wallpaper.
Yep. Speaking of Alan's Camaro, I think, hopefully, Matt is taking that out to the drag strip tomorrow. He figured out some tune wizardry because it's got all sorts of parts. It's got an 8L90 in it that he's working with. That's not the transmission that comes in the 4-cylinder cars, so he's having to battle that. But that setup is easy capable of 9s.
Yeah, he should get it done as long as everything cooperates. Randy had a good question, Chris.
Yeah.
How'd you start working at ZZP? Were you an enthusiast Did you daily drive as a mechanic? What do you daily drive as a mechanic? He actually just picked up a Cruise, but it's not the right engine.
I've got a 1.8 Cruise. And then I got a Silverado with a cam in it.
Yep.
How did I start here? Tim actually convinced me. Tim Beek and Tim Cooling both. I did 20 years or so working on heavy trucks and decided I wanted something different, so came here.
Yeah.
We had a mutual friend that works on dune trucks.
Yep.
Ryan Lenger, Lenger Racing, and Chris ended up completing my LS swap in a V6 Dune Silverado.
Yep.
So he
You had a V8 swapped Silverado?
yeah
Too?
Yeah, it was pretty wild actually.
Yeah, that was
and
kind of a bastard to put together.
Yeah, well, first off, I had one of our other mechanics that no longer works for us start on it, and he took months to not complete it, so I had to tow strap it over to Chris's house. Chris fixed everything that the other guy messed up and got it running, and he called me like within a few hours of me dropping it off, and he was like, I need this year van ECM and this year harness, and I was like, let me order that for you. And
because it was a drive-by wire cab or a drive-by
Yep.
cable for the V6.
Oh,
but
yeah.
the V8 trucks of that vintage were drive-by wire. But the vans were not, so we had to get stuff out of a van to make it work.
Nice.
Yep.
That's actually ideal. That's super cool.
yeah, it was like a couple hours, and then I had parts to him within like a day or two, and he had it up and running like ridiculous, like within a couple days. And then from that point, I was just like, I need to hire this guy. Like, this guy needs to happen. And it took us a while to get him here. But he's been here for 6 years now, right? So
It's 5. It'll be
Five?
5 in December.
Okay.
5 years. So yeah, cool.
But yeah, big V8 guy, Chris. Your truck's pretty sweet, and that's what I don't know. I would say that's your kind of go-to.
Yeah.
You're not a 4-cylinder guy quite as much as we are here, but
They've grown on me.
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah, he's got like a mid late 2000s, right?
08.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
yep. Silverado short box single cab, mid travel suspension kit on it. Decent sized cam.
The sweet
Sounds good, looks good.
Does everything it needs to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connor, if you weren't here earlier, no, we do not have LHUs or LDKs. They are no longer. And Jake, definitely do mods on your 2017 Sonic. You can make it louder, fun. You can make it turn better. I mean, we have brake upgrades. Even if you don't want to go crazy power, the Sonic, we have a fully stock engine in Ashley's Z04 car making nearly 300 wheel, and it takes it all day, every day.
Yep. And we have zero worries about that engine failing as well.
It's a lot. It's very comparable to 3800.
Yeah.
It's kind of the last thing you need to worry about when modding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you blow up the bottom end,
Yeah.
no real need to touch it.
And that the
We
stock
haven't
bottom
seen-
end can blow up, but that is pretty much only from 87 octane and whoopings.
Yeah.
So just don't run 87 octane in anything boosted ever. I don't care what the dealership tells you, because they're lying to you so you feel
Buy
better
another
about
engine.
buying something. So you feel better about buying something that's supposed to run premium.
Yeah. Yeah, so Chris not only wrenches on a lot of things around here, he also is very involved with the R&D processes that we have. I mean, right down even to the kitting of parts and components and kits.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we hand a jumble of stuff to Chris and say, hey, man, we need directions on how this goes together.
Make this work.
And, and Colton's been a great help with the directions and the kitting side, and he's worked with Chris and Ryan. So, it's a good team effort. But in the install bay, we do a lot of R&D stuff along with customer installs. The R&D team comes up with the idea, and it's our job to deliver it in a way.
Yeah.
And, actually bring it to life on a vehicle and make sure everything is proper. Chris has got a good eye for knowing when things aren't.
Yep.
And making sure we make the proper adjustments. So, and I was laughing with these guys. Not only do we work on customer cars, do all the race car builds around here, we also manage and maintain 50 ZZP fleet cars. And none of them are stock.
No, none of them. Well,
The LR.
the ELR, the Verano,
That's only because we got the EOR like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there's
And the
literally,
Toronto's just a
we
driver.
literally got to do stuff to it next week.
I know.
Yep. Like coilovers
Yep,
and,
yep.
you know, this.
And I built the engine that's in the Verano, so it's not like.
Oh, there we go. See?
I mean, we even have what's that Matt car that got a LHU put in it?
He's got an Equinox.
An Equinox.
Yep.
An Equinox with an LHU in it.
That
Like,
actually
that's
would have
crazy.
been a cool factory option. Not that
Yeah.
anyone would really care, but
Yeah.
because the 2.4s in the Equinox are awful. They are terrible to drive,
Yeah.
and they all burn oil, and they're all
Yeah. They all
oval.
suck the oil out the PCV. and-
Yep. The V6 was, I mean, that high feature V6 from GM is a pretty solid engine,
Yeah.
and in an Equinox it gets down pretty good. But if they would have put the LHU or something in there, I think that would have been good.
Bill Kish, Zoom's GTP currently has a stock L36 bottom end in it.
Yep.
It's working really good. We just did probably close to 40 dyno pulls in it the other day. You know, just back to the install bay doing R&D stuff, we have our new short stack intercooler. And so instead of just putting the short stack intercooler and testing it on it, we're like, well, we got to test it without an intercooler. And then we got to test it with our old short stack. And then we got to test our new short stack. And then we got to do our full stack intercooler. So Ryan was slinging intercoolers on the dyno the other day, and I was hopping in there.
Yep.
We'd do 5 pulls, change the intercooler, do 5 pulls, change the intercooler. So
And it's not like that's a super easy job.
not entirely easy. I mean, it's not complicated, but you know, it's you got to pull the whole blower off and get the fuel rail out of the way and the wiring harness out of the way and put it all back together. But yeah, that car works really well on that stock bottom end L36 that actually Chris put together for us when we took the stroker out of it. We were having a lot of problems with the stroker, and we needed to get back to zero. Needed to go back to the basics and make sure the car was working first before we continued with the stroker project. We were just too far off the beaten path.
Yeah.
So, you know, me, Tim, and Chris got together, and we had a really nice L36 around here, and we put the aluminum heads on that. And as soon as we put that in the car, it's been making low 400s with 11.5 pounds boost. So, working really well.
And to go along with that, you know, contrary to some people's belief, we really do like to keep things as close to customer spec in all our cars that we can. So, you know, while Zoom was working on the stroker bottom end because it was a great idea, when we figured out that at least what we have available now didn't work, go back, like you said, return back to zero, what a customer would have, and work up from there.
Yeah, and we really needed that for an A/B comparison too, to, you know, make sure, you know, the stroker project is still going on in the background, but when it does go back in the car, we need to make sure it makes more than the 420 wheel the L36 does, or why are we doing it?
Yep.
So, end rant on the stock bottom end stuff.
I mean, that is what we do. I mean, our cars run the same parts that we sell you guys. You know, the only time that one of our cars will have a part that you don't have is because we're testing it so we can make sure it works before we sell it to you. You know, Ashley's, you know, like Ashley's Sonic, my Sonic. I mean, we're always running some kind of prototype part. I mean, we just finally took a rusty bracket off my car and put one that was powder coated on it because it was the first one. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Tim's engine bay is the definition of it works.
Yes.
What Randy says, what cars do you wish GM would have made? Mine would be a Cadillac SRX-V. That would have been kind of neat. A little SUV with What's their new SUV nomenclature? Is it XT, XT4, XT5?
XTS.
Yeah. Well, XTS was a sedan.
No.
And then XT4 is their smallest SUV now that replaced the SRX. And then XT5, XT6. And I actually really like the XT5. I'm not an SUV guy, but I think it's a nice looking thing. And same with the Buick Envision. I don't know why. I think they look sharp.
SUV.
They are nice.
Yeah.
I think you could get it with an LTG in it or some kind of 2-liter turbo.
LSY.
A little different.
I think, which is their new 2-liter.
Yep.
Reiner Riggs says properly bring back the Cyclone Typhoon. Typhoon. Blah, blah. LF3 or LF4, all-wheel drive, regular cab, short bed. That would be cool.
I've thought of that. I think that would be cool.
The LF.
I would daily one of those.
Yeah.
It is crazy, like how much GM is against having an all-wheel drive boosted vehicle.
They're one.
They just won't do it.
One of the only manufacturers that just don't touch it. I mean, Ford's been doing their twin turbo V6 series and everything. The F-150s. I mean, it's in the Flex. It's in all sorts of stuff. And GM's just like,
Taurus.
nope. You get NA in all-wheel drive, or you get boosted in rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive.
There's a lot of ATSs that are all-wheel.
Oh, that's
We
true.
do a lot of 2-liter.
Nothing with a cool engine though. like
All right, I'll give you that.
there is
give
no
you that.
all-wheel drive ATS-V. There is no, all-wheel drive. I mean, I guess they just came out with that Escalade V, which
Yeah.
really surprised me when they did that.
I was pretty shocked that it was all-wheel drive and not just a rear drive car.
And then the CT5 V Blackwing.
Yep.
But they made like 2 of those, and then they dropped it. Like,
Oh no, you're thinking of the CT6
yeah,
V
Blackwing. Yeah, like
that they
made-
specifically developed a really sweet 4.2 liter V8, and that was the only thing they put it in.
and then they made 2, and
Yep.
then they closed the doors.
Yep. Then they're like, oh, never mind. Equinox did come in a 2-liter turbo.
The later ones did, not the early ones. Matt's
Oh,
is a
yes.
12-ish.
Yeah. The LTG, so like 16, that kind of
Yeah.
vintage looking one. The LSY Giovanni, we haven't done anything with an LSY yet. It makes a lot less power from the factory compared to the LTG and the LNF, but I don't know if anybody's really pushed them. They're GM's new modular engine, so it's got the header fold design, so it's only got one exhaust outlet. We're just starting on the 1.4 DI engine that's in the second-gen cruises, and that shares a lot of similarities with the 1.5 that came in the Malibu and the Terrain and all sorts of other things. So I'm sure we'll probably get there one day, but we're just kind of focusing on our current platforms
Yeah, we're
as of right now.
dabbling in the ELR right now, but we're really going to push in the ATS-V moving forward, and obviously the Sonic as well.
Yeah.
And we haven't absolutely got to a point where we're extremely happy there yet. Like we're not 3,800 level.
Well, we kind of are with the Sonic, but we're gonna keep going.
That's fair. Sonic's not a good example. ATS-V.
Yeah. There's a lot left on the table
I
on
mean-
that platform.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're still dabbling. And Tim's car just got put together with some good fresh parts, and we're gonna be doing some. I'm not even gonna say dyno testing next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some dyno testing that everybody wants the part that we're testing on it.
Yeah, really.
Everybody's been blowing us up saying you need to make X part, and we're making it. So
Yep.
And we tested on Matt's ATS-V with good results.
Yeah. But Matt,
his car is not turned to 11 like mine is. So
Yeah.
we'll put him on a turn to 11 car and see what happens.
Yeah.
Chris, what would you say is, if you can remember or recall, or maybe a couple, your favorite customer builds to work on?
It's a great question.
I wish you'd have gave me a head up on that question.
And we can come back to it too if you
Yeah,
want.
let me think on that one for a minute.
That's
Boy, there's a lot of really good ones.
Yeah.
there really is, man. Like we see a lot of nice cars in here. It's interesting because there's the Facebook car community guys that are out there doing it themselves, and the guys we interact with on the forums every day. But then there's like this whole other sector of people who come and see us personally.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of guys that you guys probably don't even know, and there's a lot of very nice cars out there that we put together, and they leave here making extreme horsepower, and
Nobody ever sees.
nobody ever sees it.
Nobody ever sees the light of day with it.
unless we post a picture, and I think a lot of guys also, I see a lot of guys who back in the day bought a Cobalt SS, an HHR SS, or something of that manner, who they couldn't afford a Corvette, so they got this. So this is their fun car, and it sat in the garage for 10 years, and they put miles on it here and there, and then now they're getting tired of it, and then they find us and they come here, and we totally
They got a little more resources at this point.
they got
that
more
too.
resources, and we totally give their car a whole new life and meaning to their build coming from a stock car. They normally come in and do a large build, and yeah.
I think one of the most fun recently was that black HHR, and the name of the customer escapes me.
Douglas Frierson.
That one.
Yeah.
A perfect example of somebody you would never see on Facebook.
Yep.
Yep.
So Douglas Frierson came in, and he's from Georgia. He actually brought us 2 HHRs. His wife has an auto. He had a manual.
Yep.
He brought us his manual first, and we did
Everything.
literally everything. You take
Yeah.
the Ecotec catalog and throw it in an HHR.
And he said, "Here, give it to me."
He was really the definition of no budget. Let's just make it the coolest HHR ever.
Forged.
Yeah.
F40 swap, big turbo.
Coilovers, ported head cams,
Yep.
5th injector.
Yeah, that really was a stock car, and
Yeah.
it left with everything.
everything. Like we pulled it in, dropped the cradle, and used nothing other than the cradle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he got ported head, cams, everything.
In fact, his stock engine stayed together enough to be running. It was a running engine yet.
Nice.
Yep.
And then he loved it so much that he
he
said,
brought his
Brought another one.
he brought his wife's car back, and we did it in LDK just
Yep.
because he wanted a new engine, and full bolt-ons on that, which was actually a very nice build too. That was definitely a good one.
I think I'm trying to think in the couple years that I've been here, what my favorite to have seen was, and I think I'll have to think about that for a minute too. But
I'll say Frizzo's ATSV
That
is
is a
one of
very
my
nice
favorite
one.
builds.
Yeah.
that's a cool ATSV.
Yeah.
The-
It's a car that's potentially nicer than mine, and he definitely has better wheels on it than mine, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
full
very sharp
catalog
car.
build.
Yeah.
You know,
Good customer, Jesse Frizzo. He's got a black 2-door ATSV.
Oh, and the paint is, as a
It's-
guy who loves detailing,
Yeah.
that thing is immaculate.
Yeah, because you can have black paint, or you can have black paint and do it right, and he's done it right.
Uh-huh.
So like it's ceramic coated, it's perfect.
Every time it rolls in here, because it's been here 3 or 4 times to keep getting more stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that you just have to kind of look at.
You look
That's all you
at
can
and
do.
it's like miles. You can look for miles into the
Yeah.
black depths
Yeah.
of the paint.
yeah.
This last time it came, it was filthy when it got here.
Uh-huh.
And which was unusual.
yeah.
Yeah, he
And
hit
we-
some construction on the way up.
Yep. We didn't even pull it inside until after we had washed it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, we're not even pulling this in until we get a full Colton detail on it, and then, we'll plastic up the front and make sure we're not trapping any dirt between the plastic and the paint when
Yeah, I get
we're
it.
working on it. And, yeah, that's a really good one. He's got all of the bolt-ons and the valve exhaust, valve springs, cam, and he just came back, and we're doing the aux kit. ATSV guys, if you haven't got an auxiliary fueling kit yet, maybe you got questions or you need some help on it, hit up customer service at ZZPerformance or me personally, bo.c at ZZPerformance, and we can help you out with an ATSV aux kit because it is the ultimate fueling solution for an ATSV by far.
Chris is laughing about that.
Randy's got a good eye.
Oh,
Randy, we had a bit of a stench up here last week, so he's talking about the Febreze there.
Oh, jeez.
Tim's over here farting it up. No.
but yeah, ATSV auxiliary fueling kit. Speaking of Frizzo, we're actually running full E85 in his factory fuel tank, and we're running just normal E85 in the auxiliary tanks, which is going to make it really easy for refueling. So he can go to the gas station, take the gas pump, fill up his factory tank, pop the trunk, fill up his 2.5-gallon aux tank, pull out of there, and floor it on a 40-degree day and not have to worry about fuel pressure issues. So
What he does need to worry about, though, is his tires.
yes.
Yeah, like that guy shows up here with some 4S Michelins, which is a great tire. I don't know. I think they're like a 305 or something.
They're
on it.
big.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, that car is like ditch to ditch when you floor it. Ditch to ditch. I don't even know how he drives it.
Hopefully he's got a drag pack at home. But I don't know.
Yeah, me and Tim were talking to him about what we should do for a drag tire on it. So he has some ideas, and we sent him our specs and what we like to do.
Ooh, I have a unusual car that I really liked that was in here probably 3 years ago. It was that tan GTP that had the really nice wheels, and he got the big brake kit with the yellow calipers.
That guy's been with us for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yep. And I knew that he had been around for quite a while, but that was just a super, super clean GTP.
Well, you
It
know what it
looks
is.
like it's got 20,000 miles on it.
Yep.
But it has over 200.
Yeah.
And it's a
It's-
base, isn't it?
It's like Bill Kish's car.
I think it's like a GTP, but
Is it?
Bill
but-
Kish has like 230,000 miles on his car. And
Oh, wow.
It's cleaner than.
Yeah, you'd have no
all of
idea.
them. Yeah, it's the bronze mist metallic, man. That paint.
It's not a color that I would think I would like, but
yeah.
Something about it when you put the right wheel on it and tint the windows a little bit.
Yep.
It's like.
and it even had darker wheels, and I'm not a big dark wheel fan. And yeah, it just that was a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, Randy, what do they call Nashville hot chicken in like Nashville?
Is it just hot chicken?
Maybe. I don't know, but man, I love Nashville hot chicken at KFC.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorites.
I actually sent Randy a base model Cobalt today because he wants to get himself in on our race base.
Man,
Series.
I found a G5 GT
Ooh.
yesterday.
With the 2.4 or the 2.2?
I don't even know. It was on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, man, if this thing, but it was from Michigan, so I'm not buying it.
Yeah, you go on Marketplace around here and you search Chevy Cobalt, and every single one has the entire rocker panel rusted
you can
off.
see the holes in the really bad pictures.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
And so I extended my search out down to Ohio because we got Erica's HHR from Ohio, and that thing is immaculate underneath.
Mine's
And-
from Ohio too, and mine is nice underneath.
Yeah, it's
You
surprising.
get southern enough.
And it's Ohio's not even that southern compared to here, but
I mean, kind of. When we did our drive to Tail of the Dragon, we were driving for like 10 hours, and we were still in Ohio. So,
Yeah. Yep.
it is
Like-
long. It is a big state.
so it made sense to me because I'm like, oh my gosh, we've been driving for many hours, and we're still like, we're just leaving Ohio. So that explains why like my Ohio base model is so darn clean.
Yeah, but yeah, it was $1,800, 5-speed. Randy wants a sedan because he used to have a sedan, so he's all about that. Fred, 400,000 miles.
That's impressive.
That's a lot. Is it? I mean, if it's in good running order, then why not?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how it's been treated its whole life. If I could like keep a vehicle for 400,000 miles, it'd probably be in still really good shape. But most people don't wash their cars. They don't do underbody washes, and they don't wash them, and they don't, maintenance them. So then they're turned into rusty crap boxes.
Yep. Ooh, yes, Randy messaged that guy. So getting away from cars, because I know it's a big contention with a lot of people. Chris, what's your favorite tool brand?
Oh, Snap-on.
Yeah. Everybody's a Snap-on junkie. I'm
Of
even
course,
a
he's the only one that shows up. So, I mean,
That's true.
fair. That's fair. I mean, there is a difference, and I think that might even be their slogan. Is it?
yeah, it is.
See, it's so ingrained in your head that you're like, yeah, there's a difference.
But
I mean, mine is Craftsman. But I do have a mechanic, and his name is Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, I love my Husky tools, but for what I do in my garage, it's all I need. I'm not wrenching every day. I'm not, putting them through the abuse that these guys do.
I've got a lot of Harbor Freight stuff at home that I use.
Yeah. And especially their higher tier stuff like Quinn, and I've never used any of their
there's
Icon
nothing
stuff,
wrong with
but
using Harbor Freight for getting into wrenching, but you do reach a point where it becomes a problem.
And
Yeah, you have to start buying like a premium ratchet.
Yep.
Like I remember
That's where I'm at right now.
I'm still a Craftsman fan, but I do know that Snap-on is better. Whenever I borrow, let's say Chris's wrench, and I use it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
this is nice.
there is a difference.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and
You know?
most of those are 20 or more years old.
Yeah,
That's cool.
which is sweet. And I think my favorite part is, obviously, you've been in it for so long doing this that you need these things, but all the different specialty tools that you have that you're like, man, I wish I had a tool for this. And you ask Chris, and he's just like, oh, yeah, here's your flywheel holder that keeps it in place and like all this other stuff. And
Yeah, you do have a quite the plethora of our platform vehicle specific tools. It just makes your job easier, and
does.
anything to make your job easier. makes ZZP more money and you less sore at the end of the day. And
Yep.
I do. I have
I'll
noticed
agree
that
with that for electric tools.
Milwaukee for
Milwaukee.
electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of Milwaukee electric stuff.
yeah,
I've noticed that 4.3 has like come up like a record amount of times in the chat.
I know I've never.
Here's what it takes for ZZP to support a platform. Basically, one of us and ZZP employees that's passionate about their vehicles has to own one. And then when you own one and you realize like, oh, I need this and I can't buy it, or I need this and the part that I need is like way overpriced, then we talk to the R&D team and they potentially make the part. But like not a single one of us has a 4.3 vehicle. So without having that passion to like pursue that platform, like it just wouldn't make it. So like I'll be honest and say ZZP will never make 4.3 parts.
No, not at this
Unless somebody we hire shows up with a 4.3 and they're like, I'm going to engineer all of these parts and you guys just make them. But that's probably not going to happen.
if you show up to ZZP with a 4.3, it would be like, why don't you have a 3800 in it?
I'm kidding.
Plus, can you 3800 swap your 4.3 vehicle? Yes.
You know how long it's been since 4.3 was popular, right? And we live in Michigan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And the 4.3 never really came in anything cool, like a mod car.
S10s.
But yeah, S10s. That's true.
Yeah.
I know my Silverado, my dune truck came with a 4.3, and it was a port injected one. And that
yeah,
engine
because they were
was,
TBI for a while too. Right?
Yeah, they had the spider injection, which was total hot garbage, as Randy just said. But mine was a port injected 4.3, and it was actually really strong. But it didn't make the right noise for me, so I fixed that, and it was a lot more fun after that. So.
And then you sold it.
Yeah, and then I sold it.
As you do with all of your, especially
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah, my Sonic is like
That's
in for the long haul.
that's your longest running car for quite a while.
Yeah, kinda. I love that stupid car. I love that car.
It's a good burger.
Whenever I'm like ready to sell it, I just take it to an autocross, win, and then I'm like, all right, I better keep it. Like that stupid car is so fast.
It is shocking how well that thing does at autocross.
Yeah.
It's like perfectly set up, good tires, good suspension.
Yeah.
It works.
One thing I do want to mention related to the install bay is if you do have a car here that we're putting together for you is Chris is always bringing this to my attention is we go above and beyond on so many aspects of a build that you might not even know about. For one being an example of our exhaust, when we install an exhaust here, we fully TIG weld the entire thing so it's seamless for free. Where normally you would at home have to bolt it together with slip fits and clamps.
Yep.
And you probably don't use an impact on those band clamps, and then it like shakes and rattles and then gets crooked.
Yeah.
So-
But, if you come here and you have an exhaust installed, that's just something we do. Whether if it's hardware that needs to be replaced, that's stuff that we do. It's just we're always looking out for the better of your vehicle. I stress to the guys all the time, hey, man, when this is in our bay, even though we're only doing a brake upgrade and coilovers, we're kind of fully responsible for the entire vehicle.
Yeah.
Or if they're coming here for a timing set, a turbo, and a clutch, we're kind of at this point responsible to make sure the entire drivetrain is operational. This guy just drove here from 6 to 8 hours away, maybe shipped the car from Florida.
Wherever it may be.
He came here because he wants us to take care of every inch of this thing. And, I've never emailed a customer and been like, hey, man, it needs this, this, and that. This is what we should do. And they're always super responsive. So,
we're not just a here install this shop.
Yeah.
People don't come in for just a muffler. When you bring your car here, we're gonna look it over. We're gonna tell you, and every shop that you take something to, like we found out at Bell Tire today, they're gonna try and sell you extra stuff. But when we say that you need something,
You actually need it.
Yeah.
we
We're not trying to
definitely
sell stuff
we
that
do
you don't
not
need.
try and sell anything. We're way too busy to try and sell you extra parts. If your
Yeah.
build's done, we're pulling in another one. So
Yeah, tell me about it. Like whenever I'm driving a customer car to tune it after the install bay works on it, I'm like, hey, this guy could use this guy could use that, and like I can see Bo just roll his eyes. So it's like we're not trying to just sell you snake oil. Like if we say you need something, it really needs it, and it's gonna probably be really hard for us to get it in the bay again to get that done if you say you want it done. So
Yeah, because we've got anywhere from 10 to 20 customer cars at any time. I mean,
we try and keep it to a minimum as much as possible, but they do stack up on us.
yeah.
Something else we do that maybe not everybody does is, especially on the big builds, we put a lot of miles on them before they go back.
A lot of miles.
Yep.
Just regular driving, not tuning, not beating on them, just drive
Make sure
'em.
there's no leaks. Make sure there's, no drivability issues.
we literally have people send us their car from, let's say, California. They'll ship their car to us. We'll do whatever we're going to do to it, and then they'll fly here and drive it to California. Like, this happens, like, monthly at bare minimum. So, like, our mechanic will take it home a night, or Bo or I'll be taking it home, tuning it, and driving it to put miles on it. I mean, we do that just because we want your experience to be the best, the best possible.
Yeah. We're selling not just a service; it's a whole package.
Yeah. We know these cars are getting old, and we know they need the extra attention to detail. So that's where we really try and focus when the build's done. It's pretty standard for 250 miles to be put on the car. Then they come in for a fluid check and a bolt check, and just make sure everything is right and tight. From there, there's always adjustments to be made.
Yep.
And then, we better it from there. And then it normally comes in for one more fluid check the day it leaves as well. So, I mean, it's definitely a lot of things. I mean, we do so many things that, if we charged for every ounce of our time, you would have a $40,000 bill in no time.
Yeah.
But, it's, we understand how important that is for you, and how important it is, to make sure you have the best experience with our parts and while your car is here, so
Yep.
we're willing to sacrifice.
Adam Project, you'd kind of be shocked. We get, like we said, California, Florida, Texas. I mean, we've got a 600 horsepower Cobalt here from Texas that's getting transported back. Like, if you've got a platform car,
Yeah, don't let the distance bug you whatsoever.
and
Like, it's here. I actually have personal experience with this. Like, this is back, like, pre-2000, before I worked at ZZP, because I started ZZP in 01. But I spent, like, probably $17,000 on my Eclipse building it myself.
Yep.
And like, a good amount of that money was just, like, paying to fix it because I didn't do it right. Like, if I could have gone back in time, I might not have ended up working at ZZP if I did, but, like, and that would be bad because I love this place. But if I could have gone back in time, I would have just saved all that money and just brought it to the ZZP of my Eclipse at the time and just had them do it, and the results would have been far better than me doing it myself. So, I mean, yeah, there's a cool part of doing it yourself, but there's also a lot of wasted money in fixing all your stupid mistakes.
oh yeah,
I've come to the realization I'm busy. I'm tuning. I have things that I am really good at doing, and I'm better off doing those things and then having Chris or Ryan do my mechanic work on my vehicle. If I need a turbo swapped on my Sonic, which I need a Z04 on it ASAP, Chris or Ryan is going to be the one doing it, and I will just sit in my office and I will tune customer cars. There is nothing wrong with just bringing it here. Like, the build not bought, like, I
That's
can't
such
even
a
count
dumb
the amount of
statement.
cars that come here with that sticker on their back window, and we fully build them. Like,
and like Tim said, there's nothing wrong with doing it yourself. Whether you can't afford someone else to work on your car, or
don't want to.
or you don't want to.
Yeah.
You just enjoy, like me and Al, the journey of building a car and learning new things, and
Until you break it on the racetrack.
until you break it on the racetrack.
And then Chris has to fix it.
But same thing with Tim. It's a time commitment, because I broke the flywheel on the Cobalt, and if I was going to do it myself, I would eventually do it, but it would probably sit here for a while.
Yeah.
And then one day I'd be like, oh man, I really should get on that, and I'd start it, and instead I'll pay these guys, get it out of my way, and then I can go back to loving the car.
that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, yes, you might enjoy working on the car, and if you enjoy working on the car, obviously do it.
Yeah.
But, like, you are needed at ZZP enough to where you're better off handing your keys to Chris to fix your clutch.
Yep.
And then get back to R&D
And he's
products
gonna
on ZZP.
and he's gonna do it 3 times faster than I ever could.
Yeah. So
3 weeks faster.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, if you enjoy working on your car, that's great. And if you really pay attention to detail to where you don't make mistakes, that's great. But like if working on your car is not your thing, there's nothing wrong with just dropping it off here and we'll do it.
Yeah.
And then it's under warranty. So I mean, even if we screw it up by chance, it's covered under warranty, and you don't have to take your car back apart because you potentially did something wrong.
Yeah.
Jason, we can go ahead and install that F40 for you if you want, because your F35 is long gone.
Yeah, hit me up. I got an F40 estimate. I'll send you ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I mean, on the topic of that, one thing customers don't understand is that we're willing to hold or set aside parts for you for, I mean, I've held parts for a long time, but 6 months.
Yeah.
If you want to, if you're like, hey, I can't do it now, you don't need to buy all the parts, have them shipped to your house, then just to bring them back to ZZP. We can hang on to them for you here, and then when you bring the car in, we can go ahead and fulfill those parts and bring them out and put them on your car like they were with your car the whole time.
Although there is something nice about having that big stack.
From being a car guy, I completely understand if you want to just look at the stack for 6 months. But the problem with that is where that lies is you always forget something.
Uh-huh.
And then me and Chris are sitting here digging through your parts, seeing what you forgot.
Yeah.
But
Did we miss something on that last one, that hill?
what about it?
That came with a carload of parts, too.
Yeah,
I think
full
everything
entry-level
was
kit.
there.
He actually did a really good
Yeah.
job. Yeah. Customer out of Florida sent us a Cobalt with an entry-level kit, all the cooling mods, and a full exhaust in the trunk. How he got it all in there, I'm not sure. And stage 2 cams, too, and a timing set. Yeah, big. Was there a clutch?
Yeah, I did a clutch in that one, too.
He had everything covered. Because you're going to need a clutch on your entry-level kit.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, man. So, yeah, my entry-level kit starts out as entry-level kit. Cooling mods, clutch, and capitals.
Yep.
Because clutch
Yeah.
is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it will not last.
No, our Ion lasted 1 dyno pull.
Yeah.
we got the entry-level kit on, and me and Al went to the dyno, and we're like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
Even that Goblin we just did didn't hold up either.
We-
even
I-
that light car.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a Goblin in here, and we had talked to him on around about the clutch a lot, and we're like, it's light. Maybe it can do it on low boost. No. And my suggestion is, don't play around. Let's just do the FX 500. It's the clutch.
Favorite clutch ever.
Yeah.
It's the clutch Chris prefers for many reasons.
Although Tyler's car, he's got kind of that hybrid setup that I really
Yeah,
like.
I got a little secret sauce with a GMPP pressure plate and an FX500 disc.
That was money.
It drives really good. I don't know what it would potentially hold, and I won't really. It doesn't really matter because it's a stock pulley blower car, but it feels real good, shifts fast,
Nice.
and brakes fly bubbles.
That happens. Mr. Moore, 06 Cobalt stage 2 kit on it, falls on his face. I'm gonna first say probably intercooler pump.
Yeah.
If your IET2s are through the frickin' roof, then you probably need an intercooler pump. So first thing is get a HP tuner interface and scan it.
Yeah, HP tuners really, we can't recommend it enough. Even if you don't tune the car, just as a diagnostic tool is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean those pretty much every 2004 Ion, the intercooler pumps are wired backwards.
And 05 Cobalts and some 06s and like.
Yep, and pretty much every 05 Cobalt is also wired backwards, and like you said, it's some 06s. So verify your polarity on your intercooler pump. Make sure your intercooler pump is working and full of fluid, and get a scan.
Yeah, because in our ZZP tunes, we have it set up that if you get over a certain IET2, it'll cut boost. So if it's falling flat on its face, it could also be fuel pressure related. I mean, there are so many different things that it could possibly be. HP tuners can lend us insight into what your car is doing, and we can usually help you from there. But without data, it's always tough. Noah, South Bend Stage 3, personally, I would go for a Clutch Masters over that.
Yeah.
They drive good, but
They don't shift well at high
Well,
RPM.
What happens is South Bend spends so much time on the pedal feel that a pressure plate is basically a seesaw. It's how much your foot moves on the pedal to how much the fingers disengage the clutch.
Yep.
And Clutch Masters is like, we don't care how stiff your pedal is.
It's
Deal
gonna
with
work.
it,
Yeah.
but it's going to work. Where South Bend is like, oh, we'll take it easy on your leg, but it might not shift at 7,000
Right.
RPM.
But even
So-
the Clutch Masters pressure plate is not.
It's not bad at
Not
all.
bad.
Even on the FX500, it's
It's a very positive
yeah,
feel, but
it
not
puts
bad.
it in a good spot. It is stiffer than stock, obviously it has to be, but it's not break your leg. Especially compared to clutches from 10 years ago. You'd hop into a car with an aftermarket clutch and you'd be like, oh, this is terrible. But you can drive an FX500 all day.
I don't think any of our clutches are scary as
No.
far as feel.
The only one that was no fun was the twin disc in Tim's car.
Yeah.
in the sky.
In the
Yeah, that
sky.
one was a light switch,
Yeah.
and it was stiff.
It
Yeah.
was stiff.
Put a different master cylinder and it still made it pretty much undrivable.
Ooh.
Mr. Paul Clark, for your Goblin, if your clutch is holding, which I'm assuming it'll probably hold forever because it's a Goblin, don't touch it. It's one of those go fast, not brokes, leave it alone. However, you could put an LNF pressure plate on an LSJ. Everything is completely fine. Technically, you kind of want to shim the pressure plate bolts because the LNF flywheel has a bigger alignment pin hole, so the
really? I didn't know that.
alignment pins center on it, and it won't properly center itself. We used to have these little sleeves that went over the alignment pins.
Okay.
So you'd put them in, you'd put the pressure plate over them, you'd tighten it down, and then you pull the pins out.
So it was centered. Yeah.
But we gave up on that. But yeah, Paul, leave it alone unless it's slipping. And if it's slipping, an LNF OEM clutch is more than enough for a pretty good build Goblin.
Yeah.
Just do the LSJ clutch upgrade kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ZZP clutch upgrade kit is
Anybody
more
on a
than enough.
blower, that's my recommendation, is
Yeah.
the LSJ clutch upgrade kit.
I have a big fan of only running enough clutch that you absolutely need, because what'll happen is, my son is 18 and he can shift the crap out of his Cobalt, and he's like, I can shift so fast, and I'm like, you do shift pretty fast and it's pretty smooth and you run fast times with the car, but that's because it's a stock organic clutch. As soon as you put a grippy clutch in it, it's way harder to shift super fast. The reason, like, I have an AB on this. Ashley's car has the GM clutch in it, and then my car has the race, the Clutch Masters race clutch in it. I can shift Ashley's car quicker than I can shift my own, because that organic clutch just gives you a little bit of slip to where you can shift it lightning fast.
Yeah,
And
because
then
it'll
mine,
start
it
to
kinda-
slip before you fully disengage. And
Yeah, and then like with mine, it's so grippy that it kind of like bucks the car, and kind of like, there's like a slight stutter on a super fast shift, and then it kind of has to respool.
yeah.
So OEM based clutches like our ZZP LSJ clutch upgrade kit is great. The GM clutch upgrade is great for a Sonic that's like full bolt on.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it semi OEM.
Arcane, we can do the fuel line setup, but you'll need to source your own 05 plus fuel rail setup, because the 04 has a different line. And actually, we found out the other day that some early 05s red lines also had the weird fuel line setup that won't work with our. So if you find an 06 Cobalt or somebody parts one of them out, if you need any reference photos, let me know and I'll let you know. But Noah, South Bend for a blower car, yeah, that's fine. But personally, I'd go with the LSJ clutch upgrade.
Yeah. Anything
over that.
I
one.
would too.
On the topic of fuel line stuff, we're really a big fan of that Delta chassis fuel line kit. Whew. We
That's-
install that a lot.
We sell a ton of them.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
they all rot out. And there's no good
Every time
option.
No.
we don't install one, we get the car out and we're like, let's
pull
fuel
it back.
let's
We
fuel
pull it back in for the final leak check, and it's, why do I smell gas?
Yep.
And it's leaking by the left
they
rear tire.
all do it. Unless you have a fully Southern kept car its entire life, and even
I don't believe that either, because
The
Douglas
moisture,
Frierson's
yeah.
HHR did the same thing.
There's some heat wrap around the lines
Yeah.
Goes up over the axle, and they get wet in there, and they rust.
Just- yep.
But it doesn't matter where the car is from.
Yeah. Even the really nice LSJ Cobalt that keeps coming back every Monday for more upgrades.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kind of cool. So we got this guy who he comes in. He came in with a stock Cobalt, and then we did like stage kit stuff, and then we did like a catback, and then we did like pulley and switch them to E85, and then we did coilovers, control arms,
Yep.
and sway bars. And so he comes in every Monday. He has Mondays off, and I've scheduled him every Monday for like a month. And so, we started out with a stock Cobalt, and then, brakes, the whole deal. And then now he's coming in this Monday for a TVS.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
So,
it's
like,
getting real now.
in 6 weeks, we've taken a Cobalt, 6
From-
weeks worth of Mondays, and he hangs out in the waiting room all day.
Yep.
Which honestly I don't recommend, but
Yeah, there's not much to do there.
Yeah, if you want to bring your car here, plan on just leaving it with us, and we'll take care of it and get a hold of you when it's done. But if he's super understanding, I'm like, well, we can only do these 3 things if you're gonna wait. So we've done that, and like I said, 6 weeks worth of Mondays, and now we're at putting a TVS on his car next Monday. So you're
Yep.
gonna have fun tuning it. 'Cause
And
he's
it's
gotta
blue.
leave.
It's
And-
blue too.
Yeah.
I love it.
But anyway, where I was going with that is a super clean car, never seen a winner. One of the first things we did was the Delta fuel
Yeah.
line kit.
Yep. And that our fuel line won't ever rust because it's not metal. So you
And
put it
let's,
in.
And let's not forget, a lot of the late model stuff, like they don't come with fuel filters.
Yeah.
All they have is like a filter sock on the fuel
the
pump in
pickup.
the back. Like
Yep, nothing in
all
line.
the later model stuff, like the Sonics and the the ATSVs and the LTGs, if I recall. Like and we're working on fuel lines and fuel filter kits for all of them.
Yeah.
So I know we
the LTG
have one.
is the only thing we don't have it for yet, right?
Yeah, and
Yep.
we need to.
Yeah, we do.
The Sonic is just a simple one. I don't know if that's on the website, but we need to get it on the website if it's not.
I don't think it is.
That's
Guess
just
we
like
did
an
do one
inline
for that.
filter.
Yeah, we need to do that one too.
Yeah, I'll work on that next week.
Yeah.
Lowering an 07 Redline. Rack spacers. Rack spacers are more for bump steer. If you're lowering, you want a rotated rear trans mount, and then really that's about it. I've gone through enough sets of lowering springs and struts and replacing everything and tearing them all apart. Just go to coilovers. Like you get fresh everything. You get fresh mounts. You get adjustability. You get all that, and ours really aren't that expensive overall when you compare getting new struts, getting
Mounts.
springs, top hats, because Delta top hats all clunk after a while. So, but I have ZZP lowering springs on my Blue Cobalt right now that are getting replaced with coilovers. So,
It's BO,
yep.
like the stink.
Hence the spray.
We're not putting a best Lauren Redline. We're not putting a 2-step on the Regal, or whatever you said about 2-step in the Regal. No,
Doesn't need that.
it spools on the brake too much already.
Yeah, that thing gets
Yeah.
down at all RPMs. That's great about
It's got a rowdy converter in it. It's got a properly sized turbo. Like that thing doesn't need any more out of the hole.
Nope.
He can launch the crap out of that thing.
In the coupe with coupe, rotated rear trans mount, super easy to install. 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, it's 5. We'll give it a minute or two longer, but if anybody has any last-minute questions, otherwise, we'll go for what are you guys doing this weekend?
Trail whipping.
Trail whipping. You taking the truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bo's coming if he gets his Jeep working.
Yep. I am jetting out of here as soon as we shut this down, and I'm going to go fix up my Jeep and hopefully see Chris in the morning to break it again.
Hopefully not break it again. Nobody's bringing a trailer.
Go fast, don't break. John Franks, no, you don't upgrade your stock inline pump. That one, or not inline, but in-tank pump. The LNFs have a great.
Yeah, so LNF, on any fuel you want to run, E85 or 93, stock LNF fuel pump up until 550 is what we recommend.
Yeah. V3 versus Z04 actually is a video that will be coming out in the next couple weeks.
Yep.
And even we were shocked
Yep.
at how good the Z04 was. I mean, we
Yeah.
know how good it is.
Tim's like, yeah, my V3 is gonna pull out, and then the Z04 is gonna pull
Hold up.
and then
Video's coming. buddy.
I'm not saying anything more other than that.
I will say the V3 pulled. The V3 pulled.
It did.
Video's coming up. As
Yep,
Tim says.
video's coming.
You hear the salt in his voice.
Cody, no, don't worry about the rear sway bar affecting you in the winter. If anything, it makes parking lot drifting more fun. But you, with the rear sway bar on a Delta car, it'll drive just as good as normal driving down the road.
Yeah, I daily drove our old Saturn for a whole winter, and it was actually probably one of my most favorite winter vehicles.
Yeah, it's a good car.
Cruise was good too. You just got to have good tires and don't be a dummy.
Mostly don't be a dummy.
Mostly don't be a dummy.
Yeah.
Tim, what you doing this weekend?
Probably working on the base model and just relaxing.
Nice.
Couple
gonna be a
busy weekends lately.
Beautiful weekend.
Yeah.
Up here in Michigan.
You should be riding shotgun with Bull.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll text you tonight if I get the Jeep running. I'm gonna blow some leaves too.
Yep, I got to do that.
Yeah,
well, I
I
got
gotta
to
do some of
chop
that,
up
too.
some leaves because I'm too lazy and I don't want to rake them. So I just mulch over them.
That's all right. I mean, you do you. It's your
Hey,
yard.
hey, Mr. Kish, I've got a 696 at 101 for my 8th mile time in my 3800 car.
Bill, I love you, brother. I don't know my best days all the time, but it's faster than yours. Honestly, I was thinking about it, Bill. We need to turbo swap that thing, man.
Yep.
So
we
you can
do.
go real fast.
Dang. My best eighth is a 7.1 in the Sonic.
That's pretty impressive.
What'd you
really.
run a 696 in?
My Grand Prix.
Nice.
That was circa 2003.
That was a long time ago.
Jesus.
If I could
20
only
years.
redo that again, like it would be way faster than that. But
That was
It
no
is what it is.
E85 either.
no,
It's not to get on a tangent, but
I think the air was just thinner back then. I don't know how all these
Probably.
old parts went so fast.
you know, it was thin. Yeah, exactly.
but
Probably
but
faster
The
now.
air that was thin.
Matt and Zoom always talk about like all these records, and you know when you guys were in the heyday of the Grand Prix area, and there was no E85, and now
No.
we're like, I can't live without E85.
No.
It would suck to live somewhere without it, but yeah, you
And
guys
so
put in
many
work.
people like we love E85, but you know, I'm always like talking to everybody here, and I'm like, we can't just push E85 to everybody because like from my remote tuning, most people can't get it. And whenever we go to Tail the Dragon, like
Oh yeah,
I basically made it like 9 hours south, and then never saw E85 ever again.
Yeah, we didn't see any. And I cannot believe how crappy the 93 was.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I had a remote tune customer today, Z3 turbo kit, and
yeah.
we're trying to turn the boost up. It's fat. We got low timing, but it's still knocking. And I'm like, man, try a different gas station. Tries a different gas station. I'm like, it's a little better. I'm like, your fuel is just
It's just not good.
like, man, we're so blessed, I guess, around here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And, the quality of fuel that you get at any pump,
Mm-hmm.
whether if it's 93 or 85.
All right.
And Jake, like I've seen some 91 cars run better than 93 cars. So I mean, 91 isn't necessarily bad. It's just all about the quality of the fuel. If you've got good 91, then you're fine. But I have E85 people that get like E60. You know, E85 is, you know, let's say that 60% is ethanol. Ethanol is like what, 112 to 115 octane?
Yeah.
104, 106.
Somewhat.
Okay.
E85
no,
you
no, no,
mean?
no. Like the ethanol,
Oh.
ethanol itself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Whatever is not ethanol based is 70 octane.
Yeah.
So
it's
if you get E60 or E65, that is 70 octane that is offsetting your 112-ish, 115 octane ethanol. So that'll knock your octane down really fast. So
yeah,
I've had
really fast.
I've had customers send me scans of E85 cars that are like E65, E70, and I'm like, why don't you just run that out and put
And go back to
93 in it
93,
and
yeah.
send me a scan, and the car performs better.
Yep.
So like just
I
because you have
believe it.
E85, like utilize that flex fuel kit. Keep an eye on that ethanol percent. If it's not at least 72 to
Yeah.
or
75.
more, you might be better off with just your local premium.
Yep.
Or buying like, some
Boostain or
5-gallon
whatever.
cans of, E98 and just mixing it in a little bit with your premium gas.
Yeah, because if you can get pre-mixed, even pre-mixed good E85 from whomever, they're going to mix it with 93 instead of garbage fuel. So
Yes.
if you have that luxury, take it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you have it.
All right.
Cool. I'll check my slip when I get home, Bill, and send you my 8th mile time. I got my slips at home. Anything else, Chris?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess, guys, if you want any installs, hit up service at ZZPerformance.com. Me and Chris will get you taken care of.
All right. Take it easy.
Have
Peace.
a good weekend. You see that? Bill Kish is like